The door-in-the-face technique is a persuasive communication strategy that involves making a large, often unreasonable request that is expected to be rejected, followed by a much smaller, more reasonable request. This technique is based on the principles of reciprocity and perceptual contrast. It was popularized in the 1970s by psychologist Robert Cialdini and has since been widely used in various contexts, including sales, negotiations, and social influence. The process begins with the first request, which is intentionally excessive or unappealing, so that the respondent is likely to refuse. This sets the stage for the second, more moderate request. When the smaller request is presented, it appears much more reasonable in comparison to the initial one, and people are more likely to agree to it. This is partly because they feel a sense of relief that the ask is no longer as large, and partly because they may feel a social obligation to reciprocate the perceived concession made by the requester. For instance, a fundraiser might initially ask someone to donate $1,000 to a cause, and when they refuse, follow up with a request for a $50 donation. Compared to the initial request, the second seems much more reasonable, and individuals are more likely to comply. The door-in-the-face technique is particularly effective when the two requests are made by the same person. The smaller request is related to the larger one, and the second request is made shortly after the first. Moreover, it is essential for the initial request to be large enough to be refused, but not so outrageous that it alienates the person. This technique has real-world applications across various domains, especially where negotiation or persuasion is involved. However, it's important to use it ethically and avoid manipulation, as misuse can lead to distrust and damage relationships. In summary, the door-in-the-face technique is a psychological tactic that capitalizes on the principles of reciprocity and contrast, and can be an effective tool for persuading others when used judiciously and ethically.